This is the original KastKing Royal Legend. And I bought this reel about 8 years ago for around, I believe it was $39.99, right at 40 bucks, right? And it was long before I ever did any affiliate work with KastKing. And at the time, I bought it because I wanted to see how good these really inexpensive bait casters actually were. And KastKing was getting a lot of attention back then. They were kind of up and coming. And if you go back and watch my old videos, I was pretty impressed with it. For the first couple of years, I fished this reel pretty hard. It went everywhere with me. Freshwater, saltwater. I took it along with my other setups, pretty much everywhere I went. After that, I still fished it occasionally, but I loaned it out quite a bit to people who wanted to try a baitcaster or just needed a reel to borrow. So it's seen a lot of use, right? And you can see the KastKing logo on the paddles is pretty much worn off. I mean, you can definitely see that it's been used a lot. And you can see some rash on the paddles. You can see some rash on the drag star. There's the numbers on the brake are pretty worn off, and there's some rash on the brake. And then if you listen to it, it definitely sounds a little rough. But here's the interesting part. The drag still works. It still casts fine. Everything on the reel still functions perfectly fine. It just sounds and feels a little rougher than it used to be. And I know this reel hasn't been cleaned in at least 2 seasons, maybe 3. So is that roughness 8 years of wear, or does it just need a good cleaning? I'm going to tear this thing completely down. We're going to use an ultrasonic cleaner and clean all the parts really good. Just give it a good full cleaning, put it back together, and see if we can get rid of some of that roughness. Because right now in this condition, I think for 40 bucks, this reel has held up pretty good, and you probably couldn't ask for more anyway. But let's just see. All right, so there it is, completely disassembled. Now, as I was disassembling it, I definitely felt a lot of grit in there. So we're definitely gonna clean this up to the best of our ability and see if we can make it feel a little bit smoother. I'm gonna degrease it, and I'm also going to put it in an ultrasonic cleaner. We're gonna clean the bearings, we're gonna clean everything. And just for good measure, like if you're disassembling a reel, this is the way I do it, right? All of these parts go on in this order. This one, then this one, then this one, then this one, this one, this one, so on and so forth, right? So when you go to put it back together, you have in logical order. It came apart this way, it goes back together this way. And always take pictures as you're doing it, and that way you can ensure that everything goes back where it's supposed to. Okay, we got everything in the ultrasonic cleaner. We're gonna let it go for about 30 minutes. All right, everything's out of the ultrasonic cleaner, and if you look at it, it's definitely got all the grime off of it. All right, so after tearing this reel completely down and giving it a full deep cleaning, including degreasing and an ultrasonic cleaning, let's listen to it now. It's definitely better. It's actually a lot better. And there was a lot of grit and grime in it. You know, I definitely felt that when I was taking it apart. But now there's less noise, less roughness, and overall it feels a lot smoother than it did before the cleaning. It's still a little geary. No argument there at all. Honestly, I expect that after, many years of use. A cleaning, it can remove the dirt and the grease, but it can't undo actual wear. One thing I did notice during the disassembly is the pawl for the worm gear is really worn, and I'm surprised it's actually still working, but it is. And I wouldn't be surprised if it needs to be replaced relatively soon, because it definitely is worn. And considering how much use this reel's seen, I'm actually a little surprised it hasn't already worn out. But that really gets me back to the bigger point. This was a $40 bait caster. I fished it hard for a couple of years. I used it in fresh and salt water. kept using it after that, loaned it out to several people, and 8 years later, it still works. The drag still works, it still casts, the braking system still works, the level line still works. I'm about to take it out and put it on the water just to give it a try and see what it feels like out there. But, you know, after that good cleaning, it actually feels decent again. So no, it doesn't feel like a brand new reel anymore. It doesn't feel like a highly refined reel by any stretch of the imagination. But for what I paid for it and how much use it's gotten, I think this thing has held up amazingly well. And this is probably the bigger lesson with budget-friendly fishing gear. Cheap doesn't automatically mean disposable. If you take care of it, it'll last a long time. You may not get the same refinement, the same higher end materials, or the long-term smoothness you get from a more expensive reel, but if the reel does what you need it to do and keeps going for years, that can still be a really good value. And this one, it definitely was. Very surprised how well this reel has held up over the years for as much use as it's gotten. Now I'm gonna drop it back on a rod and see how it feels casting after the clean. All right, we're gonna test out the old Royal Legend. 8 years old, got it cleaned up. Got us a big Magnum Cinco on right there, 6-inch, big fat thing. Since it's so hot, I'm thinking maybe something real easy might be what they're in the mood for. Water's kind of dirty. We got a little wind too, might be better with some sort of reaction bait, maybe a chatterbait, maybe a spinner bait. Got our spinner bait on. And this reel, it still casts pretty much effortlessly. It always was a really nice casting reel. Rougher than it once was, but for an 8-year-old budget reel, I think it's in amazing condition and it's held up amazingly well. Sure would like to pick a bass up. I think our bigger problem is that it's the middle of the day, summer in Texas, it's nearly 100 degrees out here. Those bass are deep, laid up, or they're undercover. They're staying cool. They'll come out this evening. But right now, they're like, nah, not today. Working the spinner bait. Oh, there he is. Just a little guy, but we got one. There we go. Little guy on the spinnerbait. And I do mean a little guy. And he took care of my spinnerbait wig there too. You know, if you're looking at a budget reel, don't be afraid of a budget reel.